Hey, hello everybody. Claude Diamond here. Love talking about sales and have a couple things to talk about on this Halloween evening. By the way, here in the Soviet Socialist state of Southern California, I'm in San Diego right now. I am the author of the Guts sales method. Like the sign says, do you give good phone? A couple things I wanted to chat with today. I like doing these live broadcasts. Biggest question today in Halloween is what to go as. I'm seeing a lot of garbage men. If you follow the news, you know what I'm talking about. The Dodgers won the World Series, so a lot of kids are wearing their dad's Dodger shirts and things like that. We don't have a baseball team here in San Diego because yes, we do actually. We have the Padres, but we don't want to talk about their season. And some people are going as Mideast pager salesmen or McDonald's French fry people. So very interesting that politics has crossed into Halloween. But that's not why you came here. We want to talk about a couple things. Um, one of my one person I spoke with today, they were telling me, Claude, I'm spending. I was advised by my guru, not me, another company. I'm spending 10,000 a month on marketing, mailers, and hiring other people and everything. I said, that's great. So, how long you been doing it? Oh, I've been doing it 3 months, and they want me to do a fourth month. And I said, and so that's about 30,000 going into $40,000. So I said to him, how's that working for you? Oh, we're getting a lot of leads. And I said, that's fantastic. He said, yeah, I'm getting all these leads. And then I went, how much money are you making? Because isn't that what it's all about? And there was that silence. Always like that silence when you ask a simple question and you hear silence, that means either you've upset them or they're trying to think of a lie or they don't really want to answer and they're going to change the subject or something. And he said, well, not yet. I haven't closed any. And I said, well, your problem then isn't the marketing. Could be, though, the quality of the leads. But let's assume that they're good quality leads. Your problem is salesmanship. You're just not closing people. You don't. What do you do? Well, I use this kind of the script, and right away, you guys, if you know anything about me, you know I don't like scripts. Okay, if you can't think on your feet, can't be spontaneous, and that's why I developed the gut sales method, great untraditional, unorthodox techniques of sales, because I wanted people to have a simple three little step, like a little staircase, agenda, qualification, close, a simple system of asking questions and knowing where to go during the course of the conversation. And if you've heard any of my videos, I'm big on regaining that old world skill of talking to people. In fact, that happened to me today. I called my insurance company because I live in different places in different parts of the world and different times of the year, and I wanted to check on my Colorado property, which went up in value. And so I wanted to make sure if I was insured. And the agent called me back personally. She was wonderful. She said, this is what you're covered for. You have more than enough coverage. And I thanked her so much for calling me back, not texting me, not emailing me, but just following up. And I said, it's great the way you do business. I really appreciate the phone call. And she says, we kind of do old school with our customers. And that's why, and she was very honest. She said they like that. And that's how they stay loyal to us because they know they follow up on a personal level. And I thought, isn't this the best way to sell? To keep the loyalty of a customer or to speak to a new prospect or customer and say, I don't know if, basically, I don't know if you like this or not, but we tend to hold our customers' hands and we believe in very personal service. So if you have a question or something, we might schedule an appointment or call you to follow up rather than send you a text or an email, unless it's a really simple question. And I thought, and I complimented her. I said, what a great way to do business. That's why you're insuring all my properties and why I love doing business with you. So big shout out to my insurance firm. I don't know if they want me to mention their name. Couple thing is, if you're spending that much money on marketing and you're getting leads, okay. I believe in attraction marketing, but I know there's many different ways to do marketing. Some people buy lists. Some people use AI and autoresponders. Some people do postal mailers. Some people use VAs in other countries and things. Nothing wrong with all of those different methods. But the question you're asking is, what's my cost of acquisition for my prospect. If I'm spending thousands of dollars and for argument's sake, I'm getting 100 leads and I spent $1,000, what are those 100 leads? What are they, what are they really worth to me? How much are they costing me per lead? 30 something dollars, right? And what's the conversion rate to those leads? Well, if you're spending if you're spending $1,000 and you're getting 100 leads and you're only converting one lead, that cost that lead was $1,000. And that you've got to factor some of these things in there. Okay. And is whatever product or service, most of you follow me, do real estate, are you going to be making more in the short term with that person to compensate for that $1,000? Hopefully you'll make 5,000 or 50,000. Who cares that it costs 1,000? It's a cost of doing business. But if your conversion rate is zero on a consistent basis, or 1 month you're getting a conversion and 1 month you're not, then your costs go up drastically. And the key to success, I always tell people, the key to my success, I've been in business a long time, is low overhead, high profit. And also how much time do I want to work? What's the quality of my life during the day? Am I working 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day? I know how hard some of you work, or am I working just a few hours a day? And that's what I usually do. I usually have 4 to 8 scheduled appointments in the morning. Then in the afternoon, I do my fun stuff. I usually get up early and exercise and swim and run. Then I go to work. I basically, I work about 4 days. I work Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I usually have Wednesdays off, scheduled, and I have weekends off, but I can do whatever I want. That's the beauty of being an entrepreneur. That's what we want. And also, if I want to do something else, if I want to go with my wife to our favorite vineyard and have a glass of wine in the middle of the day on a Thursday, I can do these things. And that's the whole thing. You want the money and you want the quality of life and you want the freedom on it. But are you closing? Back to my original premise. Do you have the sales skills to close people? And that's the most important thing. Closing people, having good conversations, staying confident, staying calm, thinking on your feet. Can you do that with those leads that you're getting? Can you close them? Can you monetize them? Or are they just these endless conversations? Well, I'll get back to you. I'll send you some information. We'll talk another day. And I believe in DQ, do it quick, okay? I believe in closing or attempting to close in the first phone call. And I know a lot of you are saying, oh, but Claude, nobody ever closes in one phone call. Well, I do, and my students do. And when I say close, let me define it. Yes, I mean get paid, get a contract, get a follow-up firm appointment, or get out. Okay. And you've got to ask, what's the value of your time? Are you working smart? Are you just working hard? And let's face it, when you have a conversation with a prospect and and on a 1 through 10 scale, they're an 8, 9, 10, go for the close. That's why you're in business. Don't worry about what they think, always being too pushy or anything like that. Because if you don't close them, your competition sure will. And guess how long they'll remember you after they get off the phone when you do that? Well, we'll talk later or follow up and everything. They forgot you already. You're gone. You're history. You get one chance to do it. Go for it. I don't care if it's a $5 million home. I don't care if it's, my favorite little fizzy water here. Costco has them on sale right now, by the way. I love this stuff. Keeps me from eating all day when I drink tea, black coffee, or my good old Pellegrino or Evian or whatever. How did that come into the conversation? Okay. So the thing about it is you got to give good phone. You got to be superb. Now, I heard another, just to change the topic. See, I do put notes down in my book, by the way. I love these books. These are these mold books that you can get at Barnes & Noble. They're just wonderful for taking notes. I heard another guru, and he's really good. I'm not going to mention his name because I don't have his permission, but he was talking in a YouTube video or Instagram or something about always answer a question with a question, but he left out and that's my guts method is very much like that, turning questions into questions. But if you do that all the time, you're going to become very irritating to that prospect. You're going to become abrasive. And there's a technique I wanted to share with you guys. You always answer a question with a question, but you embed in those questions either something like, I don't know, or you give them a stroke. Great question. Or you give them nurturing. You know, a lot of people ask me that question. I had the same problem. That's a nurture. Or you do a little empathy. I know how you feel. So when someone says a question to you, and oh, by the way, after I'm done with this broadcast, I'm going to be doing another live broadcast. I had a most marvelous role play today with one of my clients, and I asked his permission if we could share that role play. And it's about I don't know. I don't know is the best three words in the English language when you're in sales. Write them down if you're taking notes from me right now. Somebody asks you a question. Well, how long is it going to take to sell the property? I don't know. What would be the financing for that? I don't know. Now, if you're just like the one sales trainer I was talking about, respond with another question. It's going to get it's going to get a little bit stale after a while. So when you say to somebody brings up a question, you say, yeah, I don't know. And then you embellish it with, that's a great question. Or you must have asked that for a reason. Or why is that important to you? Oh, great question. I'm glad you brought that up. Why, why is that the first question you asked? Why is that so important to you today? Excellent. You've done your homework. You've done your research. So you always say, I don't know. You don't always say, I don't know. You're flexible. You can say many different things. That's a good question. Now you must have asked that for a reason. Help me. Could you help me out a little? I'm not exactly sure what you mean. So you respond in different ways. The prospect will not see what you're doing while you're doing it. See, the traditional salesperson, the prospect asks a question. Salespeople think they need to know all the answers to all the questions. That's not true. Because you know what, it's like the kid in school that did his homework. Ooh, teacher, call on me. What you want to do is get the prospect. This is so important, guys. This is like, let me take a sip here before I tell you. This is so important. When they ask you a question and you're the amateur or the traditional salesperson, and you think you need to know every answer to every question, and then you go into presentation mode. Well, a lot of times that does not get the prospect emotionally involved. And that's our goal, to get them emotionally involved, because $1,000,000 rule says that people make immediate business decisions emotionally. They just justify them logically, academically, intellectually later on. So what you want to do, rather than answer the question, this is so important. This is $1,000,000 stuff I'm sharing with you guys. Okay. When they ask you a question, you want them to reinterpret it or give you more information. You want to get them emotionally involved. Why? So if the prospect says something like, how long before I sell the property? Well, I don't know. That's a great question. Well, you must have asked that for a reason, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect. Yes, I want to know because I'm watching my money right now, and I want to know if I can get a return in 30, 60, 90 days. And then you go, well, if I could show you techniques that I have to show you how to assign or sell or market the property and to hopefully turn it around in 30, 60, 90 days, what would you say to me next? So not only are we going towards a close, but we're also getting the prospect to state that it's a money issue. They need a turnover very quickly because they're watching their money. They're on a budget. But you also want to get those commitments through the conversation. So in one simple move, you can get all this information from a prospect. You can get their budget. You can get their level of motivation. You can get their time frame. Do they have the authority to make a decision? And do they have the character to keep that decision? You get all these things in the second step of the gut sales method. If you want to learn more about that, by the way, go to my webpage. Here's my little plug for myself. Go to ClaudeDiamond.com. It's in the description somewhere in there. And that way, here, I can even put it in myself. Here, thank you, YouTube. www.claudediamond.com, and go into, let's see, I'll put the full link here. Go into the link, claudediamond.com, and click on that. It's in the chat box. And you can get a free book and a free 15-minute. I've written books just on sales is the $1 million skill. You've got to learn how to ask questions, but just asking questions makes the prospect feel, excuse me, like you're cross-examining them. You've got to be a little strategic here. You've got to be a little smarter than that. Good question. I don't know. I'm glad. That's a great question. A lot of people ask me that. You must have brought that up because it's important to you. On a 1 through 10, score would you give that question? Could you mind if I ask you a few more questions? What do you mean by that? You want to turn questions into questions, but you embellish them. You add stroking, nurturing, empathy. A stroke is a sincere compliment. A nurture is when you make it emotional and you blend in a story or bonding. And empathy is you tell them how you feel. Oh, I think I had the same experience you did. That's a good point you brought up. You want to get them doing all the work. You want to turn the prospect into the salesperson and get all that great information. And the best way to do it is ask questions rather than yak, yak, yak and go into presentation mode. Now, sooner or later, you will have to go into intellectual presentation mode. They will need to know, but you want to know, who are you speaking to? Do they have the money? Do they have a problem or a pain they're looking to resolve? Is it a 1, a 5, or a 10? And always answer a question with a question. And you might say, I don't know, or one of the other things I just discussed in this. And that's the way you stay in control. And if you do it the right way, this is important, they won't see what you're doing while you're doing it. And you'll be able to, you can't sell everybody. I don't care what the gurus say. Not everybody is a prospect. Would you rather like to know that in the first 180 seconds? This is my famous guts sales timer. I give it to my students that I mentor. You want in 180 seconds, do you want to know, are you dealing with a prospect or a waste of life? How many of us, and myself included, I'm the former world's worst sales guys. You guys know I talk about this. I used to give presentations all over the place. I'd answer all the questions. And what do they say? You know the answer to this if you follow me. You don't even have to follow me. You know what they're going to say. They say, well, I'll think about it. I'll talk to my spouse, my significant other, my board of directors. Send me the information. I'll get back to you. And boom. Once they're off, you lost them. They're going to ghost you. I talked about this yesterday in my live broadcast. They're going to ghost you. Go on the witness protection program. And you only got one shot. You got to go for it. This is why. Do you ever ask yourself this one question? It's so important. How come some people, we all work for different companies and different things, and there's always 1 or 2 people who are always on the top? They do the most sales. They sell 10 times more than everybody else. What is it that they have? Are they smarter? Do they have special DNA? What is it they're doing different? I spent years researching what the top salespeople do that the rest of us do not do. I call them 1%ers. Okay. What is it that they do differently? They focus on the most important thing, the $1 million skill: sales, persuasion, influence. How do I get someone to say yes? What do I want that prospect? We work so hard for prospects. We spend way too much money for prospects, and then we lose them when we get to the sales part. I mean, sooner or later, I know we all love AI and chat and virtual assistants and mailers, and they're all good. But sooner or later, don't you have to speak to somebody? That's how you negotiate the deal, get it in the contract, get paid, and everything else. And that's where that's where most people blow it. Okay. And you've got to have a sales system, and you've got to practice the hell out of it. That's what I do with my students. We role play a lot. Bring me that stuff, guys. We'll figure it out. There's a logical solution to every obstacle, every stall, objection, or problem. And sometimes you just can't close on some people. They don't have the money. They don't have the need. They're not motivated. They're the wrong person to speak to. Sometimes you just got to fire the prospect, because, as I always say, nobody deserves success more than you good people. Okay. And the salesperson in my world comes first. And so, why do you want to just be exhausted and get frustrated and get rejected all day long? And then you start procrastinating, and then you look for that next shiny object. Or do you want to work really smart and go to the bank and be free the rest of your life. My definition of success, I think I did it last week. I'll do it real quick now, is that take everything away from me that I've worked a lifetime with my wife. Okay. The financial freedom, being debt free, the bling and all the other things that we have. Uh, Could you, if you lost it all tomorrow, could you get back on the phone? Maybe even a little cheap Walmart burner. Could you get back on that phone and in 30 days or less be a one percenter again, a top wage earner in this great country? Yes, because that's the one thing they can't take away. See, they can always take away stuff from you, but they can't take away your skill. They can't take away your self-esteem and your confidence. Once you have that, you can always get back on the horse. Everybody has obstacles, problems, challenges, different economies, all kinds of things in life. But what's the difference between a super winner and somebody struggling? Okay. Okay. Nobody want, do you ever meet the person, I always call them my boohoo tissues. I usually write, and they go on, they tell you, boohoo, they give you their life story, right? Okay. Nobody cares. All they care about is, do you have a solution with your product or services? Are you the person they feel good about? Do they know, like, and trust you? Do they want to work with you? How do they feel about you? And then you go to them and say, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, I have made a decision. And that's one of my techniques. I'm not going to go into that today. I have made a decision. I'll do that maybe tomorrow. That is a technique. I'll give you one potato chip. Okay. Though you can't just eat one. Maybe that was before your time. That's basically the one potato chip rule. Lay's potato chips. I'm trying to remember. And the thing about it is, when you go to the prospect and you ask the questions, you get the information, you get them emotionally involved, and then you go to them and say, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, I've made a decision. I want to work with you. I want to help you solve your problem, your issue, buy your home, sell your home, or whatever. I'm going to make you an offer right now. And God bless you if you say no to me, but I have made a decision that we're going to do business today. How do you feel about that? Is that all right with you if I make you an offer right now? And the only thing I ask is, if you don't like it, say no to me. Tell me to get lost, fire me. That's all right. But I'd love to do business with you, and I can help you make this problem go away, this issue, this pain, this need, this greed. And that is the I have made a decision close technique, which I patented. I invented that, or maybe I got it from my mentor. I owe so much of my success to my mentor. I often talk, I've written several books about Max the mentor. There was a Max in my life, and he was just a great salesman. He was very charismatic, very outgoing. And so much of sales, we've lost that skill. There's some things you just can't. When you come home late at night, you worked a hard day, and you get a greeting from your significant others. Your kids come running up to you, daddy, mommy, whatever, and give you a big hug. I mean, can you is there anything electronic that can substitute that feeling? You come home and your dog or cat greets you even. Don't you love that? That's emotion. And we've gotten away from those feelings in business. And so much of decision making, and you can disagree with anything I say, by the way, a lot of this is just based on my experiences. So much of my success is based on knowing how to touch the soul of that person, so that when they get off the phone, what do you want them to say about you? Hey, that person, they have my back. I feel good about them. I feel I can trust them. I like that person. They made me laugh. They got back to me and gave me the information I need. When people know, like, and trust you, and you have the charismatic abilities to create that in another person, so that when they get off the phone, they want to continue doing business or initiate new business with you. That is the $1 million skill. And you can't take it for granted, because there's no script, there's no electronic device that can substitute for that feeling. Absolutely not. Because what do I always say? No one deserves success more than you good people. And this is the way to get it. If it works for me, I'm nobody special. It'll work for you. My name is Claude Diamond, and I do give good phone, and you can give me a call. And all the information is in the description there. I'm not going to ask you to give me a thumbs up or hit subscribe. Everybody does that. I guess I just did it, didn't I? You're right. So you never know what I'm going to do next. But seriously, if you want to learn sales, I do mentor people one-on-one. I have tons of free stuff like these videos and these discussions. Go to my webpage if you want a free 15 minutes with me, or you'd like a free book, or you'd like a product. I have packages with how to learn this gut sales method. It changed my life. It'll change yours. Thanks for joining me. Have a happy and safe Halloween. Take care. Bye-bye.